if you capitalize the entire text, you might as well be hollering. See, it took me years to know that. And then when you add 14 exclamation points, that means you're pissed off.
This podcast was brought to you by Outsider. Check us out at www.outsider.com. Outsider is an outdoor lifestyle brand owned and operated by me, retired Navy SEAL Sam Mackey, and my dear friend and former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler. At Outsider, we encourage everyone to get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer. Head over to outsider.com to check out our unique patent-pending drinkware. Outsider's drinkware can be customized with your personal or business logo. Go to outsider.com, upload your logo, and we will send you visual proofs and great wholesale pricing. And don't forget, get outside and enjoy all that life has to offer.
Welcome back to the Take It Outside podcast, where we talk about all things outdoors and just getting outside in general where life happens. And I'm your host, Sam Mackey, and my co-host, Jay Keller, could not be here today, but we are certainly excited to have Brian Pigman on this show, one of the most recognizable names in hunting. He's built a huge following with his no-nonsense approach to hog and predator hunting, and his larger-than-life personality has made him a staple in outdoor television. Welcome, my man. I appreciate you.
Hell yeah, man. It's nice to meet you, and I guess I'm going to start right off on Jay. I drove 8.5 hours to see Jay, and Jay had some other things come up. Well, Jay, my man, wherever you are, I hope you practice falling down, because when I see you, buddy, I'm going to turn them lights out for you. No, man, he's actually, the crazy thing is, Sam, Lando put me on to what was going on online.
Yeah.
And I get sick of that. So it's like walking into this building. You got a sticker right out there that says lawful carry and concealed carry. Okay. Yeah. That's my lawful right to do what I want to do. It's a horrible thing that a man wants to travel to Africa and harvest a sable, and everybody got on him. I wanted to start this podcast off talking right about that, because that's what this is about. This is how these guys reached out to Landon and said, hey, would you like to be on Jay's podcast and meet you guys? And I said, absolutely, because I'm sick and tired of, we're already losing hunters. We're into decline. The market, because I'm in it. I'm a bow manufacturer. I've been a gun builder for 25 years, and every category across the board is down. And what's happened, in my opinion, is marketing media people have invested all their money in influencers. Okay, well, Landon can be an influencer because all you need is this.
Correct.
And companies, manufacturers see that as free advertising. But it's not about the number of eyeballs. It's about the right eyeballs. TikTok is 10 and under. Unless you're selling a knife or a piece of turquoise, you're not going to make it on TikTok, because they only allow certain things. And I'm just sick and tired of people jumping out there and attacking someone like Jay. Do you know Jay's background? You know, first and foremost, what are you really attacking? These guys, I have been on a place in South Africa that was 45,000 acres. It was high fenced. And this was a sable breeding operation. These monster bulls, they would breed with certain cows, and it's just like in Texas how they breed the whitetail and other parts of the country. And I just pisses me off that the keyboard warriors, now everybody's got one. It didn't used to be that way. All the kids now, everybody's got an iPhone, everybody's got an Android, they can comment. And I actually was in the Virgin Islands on vacation with my family. And Landon sent me that, and it just got all over me. And I told him, stay in the house for a minute, I got to shoot a video. And I think it's one of our biggest viewed videos since I've been on TikTok.
Really?
Which I really don't care if I was ever on TikTok. I'm 53 years old. I give two shits about TikTok. But I have to, because it's what I do. And people don't understand, and we're going to get into this in a second. I'm going to stop for just a second and let you talk.
No,
too.
I love it.
But here's my thing. this is why this is close to my heart. So my son, almost the same story. He actually could have played football for Texas A&M. And he was in the engineering program. Basically, they tell you if you're going to be in the engineering program, there's no way you can travel, play football, and be in this program. And during middle of his college career, comes home, calls me, Dad, bring me a gallon of milk and a gallon of tea. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's a water dude, man. That's it. He's all he's ever drank his life. He never drank sodas at all. And I'm not there. I'm away. But I had a guy and he took his stuff and I'm like, I checked on him the next day and he wasn't getting any better. And I was out of town and his mom took him to the hospital and his blood sugar was over 900. And we're like, what the hell is going on? This is during COVID.
Yep.
Rush him to Waco, to the hospital, and takes him 48 hours just to get his blood sugar down. We couldn't even go in there. I slept in my truck in the parking lot. Like, even though he was the age he was, I think he was 20. That's still my son, my only son. And I have 2 stepsons, but my only blood son. And I'm like, okay, we could text him. And the nurse, when I picked him up, the nurse chewed my ass. And like, you did not know he was a type 1 diabetic. I said, no, there's nothing in the family. Well, it's not hereditary. Like it's something that you don't pass that along. But I was uneducated about it. Now that I'm educated about it and I've seen him struggle, it's completely changed his life. And it's aggravating to him because that because you're Jay's friend.
Yep.
You know exactly. It's, if I could take it for him, I would take it for him right now. He don't deserve it.
Yep.
Jay don't deserve it. And people that want to, people get on certain kinds of whatever the fun thing is, whether it's breast cancer, they all want to pile on that. Of course, we all would love to eliminate all of these things.
Absolutely.
But you can't. But what I'm saying is simply my point. Don't judge a person. This man was not only an NFL football player, but a very successful one with the problem that he has with type 1 diabetes. And I'm going to tell you, that is incredibly hard to control. It's not as cut and dry as everybody thinks it is. It's a serious, serious thing. My ex-wife, his mom, is one of those, reads the Farmer's Almanac. And she's convinced. I read this study. If you get the old tuberculosis shot, it reverses type 1 diabetes. It took me 2 years. I got this from Mexico. A super rich guy in Mexico called a few favors in for me and got this vial from Mexico City. And I gave it to him. I packed it on ice. I come all the way back. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? I started talking to people, a lot of side effects. I'm like, Jesus. So I've been through every stage of it, praying that there's something that will reverse that, because it's not something easy to live with. And I'm just simply saying, what struck me is when I saw this post and everybody jumped on to him, it instantly made me go into the dad mode.
Yeah.
And like I wanted to defend him too, because I see temperature changes his blood sugar level. If he's working out, he has to prep what he's doing to have his level at a certain place before he exerts too much energy, because it's horrible to be high, but it's even worse to be too low. You pass out. And I've physically seen somebody pass out from it.
Did you end up taking that medicine that you got from Mexico?
Nope.
No.
His mom decided after she read more, she drove me crazy for 2 years, man. And then they still got it in the fridge.
Okay.
It's good for like 10 years if you keep it refrigerated.
Yeah.
But I had a doctor I met a guy hunting, a doctor in Miami, And we've talked a little bit about it, and you study it. I'm sure Jay has. I guarantee you Jay knows exactly what I'm talking about.
He's very
But I'm
intelligent.
just simply saying, my heroes, there's not very many of them. People I look up to, Johnny Morris is one of them, owner of Bass Pro Shops. That dude is one of my favorite people in the world. People like Jay that have to deal with this, and then he takes it to a completely different level and shows everybody I can compete with anybody no matter what I have. Kudos to him is where I was going with all that.
You know, when he found out that he had diabetes, it was, I believe, and I'm going to be a little off on this, I'm sure, but I believe he was playing in Denver and or his first year at the Bears, somewhere around in there, and he was losing tons of weight and couldn't figure out why, and just tired and not feeling well. And they just chalked it up to stress. They're like, yeah, this is the big leagues. It's stressful. And he kept telling them, like, hey, I'm not stressed. And lost an immense amount of weight. And then they finally figured out what it was. Yeah.
I mean, I won't never forget the way that nurse talked to me that day. Like we didn't know. There was never a sign.
Yeah.
There was never no reason to check his blood sugar levels. He was doing just fine.
So is it something that he had his whole life? And
No.
then it just showed symptoms, or did it just rear its ugly head?
Never a symptom one until he was 20 years old.
Really?
Never a symptom one.
So Jay was the same way.
Yeah,
it's bizarre.
like it hits you all at one time.
Does it live within you, or does it do you always have it and then it manifests, or?
That's something I don't know, Sam. I don't. It's from a dad. I mean, you would probably have to talk to like Jay's family.
Yeah.
Like the way, I mean, you're one of his best friends, so you know how it affects him. It's it's a pretty, here's the thing. I know this because it's funny that I said that I responded to this on vacation while I had my son with me. My wife, his stepmother, has a backpack cooler, and it's a different thing to go through TSA customs when you're packing that many insulin pens. You have short term and you have the long that you take at night for sleeping. And I'm sitting right here, man. Like it's a habit with me. I hit the button.
So you monitor it.
Absolutely. I look at this 200 times a day.
I bet.
I wake up at night at 2:00 in the morning and I text him, hey, you're high. I want to help him watch it because I want him to have a normal life.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He's 25 and he makes life decisions because of what he has.
Yeah.
And I see him, and he'll hate me for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want people to really understand how big of a feat it was for Jay to continue to do what he did at the level he did it at. I see him in his partner choices, like girls that he may be interested in. And I live in Oklahoma. He lives in Texas. We introduced him to a little gal that we thought she goes to church. She's a sweet little girl. And they went out on a little date. And I said, what's the deal with that? I asked him 2 or 3 days. And he's like, she has, and she had lupus. And no, I'm sorry, she had Crohn's.
Okay.
And so I said, dude, just me and him. What, I mean, like, what's wrong with her? Like, he's like, with what I have and what she has, what's the point? We don't need to pass anything like that on to a child. And that's where his mind is at. And like it's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Because it completely changed his life. And the course he was on, it really upsets me. It really changed his life. And it's just, as a dad.
Yeah. I mean, it changed his life as he knows it, but now it's changed his future also because he's making decisions, based off, the disease that he has there. And that's not fair, man. That's not cool.
It ain't. I know they're making some big strides in trying to eliminate it. And I read a lot of the same stuff that his mom did about that TB shot, actually completely reversing it. But it's just, it's a horrible thing. But hey, Also, there's people out there that's got stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to discredit anything, any sickness. It's nothing is easy. But just I'm saying from a dad standpoint, looking at him, I seen how it's completely altered his life.
Absolutely.
So, and it's just, again, before I'm saying to people listening to this podcast, before you make a decision on a choice that he made to go have some fun, Sable meat's some of the best meat you'll ever eat in your life.
Yep.
And don't judge him. My grandfather told me something. I first got my driver's license. We had a little drag in town. I made a little turnaround at an auto parts store, and I had a really nice truck that they gave me. And it was souped up a little bit, and I spun the tires out. Well, there was a cop sitting on the other side of the building. I threw rocks all over the cop car, and he knew my grandfather. And he pulled up there, and he said, hey, I said, man, when I made that turn, I gassed her a little too much while I lied. I knew exactly what I did. And he told my grandpa, and he told me, he said, I want to tell you something. People are really strange about the way they assess you as a person. And they tend to judge you and remember you for the bad things you do, not the good. And in a way, I've never forgot that my whole life. And people, in Jay's case, everybody jumped right on him.
It was amazing, you know, how mean people were. They were threatening his family, his kids.
Your kids are to die.
Who the hell says that? First of all, I've never seen a random post on any platform and felt the need to
threaten somebody's life
or make a negative comment. Or what are you doing? You don't know that person, and then you click on these people's profile, and you know, just from a different viewpoint, it doesn't look like they have much going on. It's like you just sit around and try to make people feel bad. Like, what the hell are you doing?
That is what a Texan referred to as little man syndrome.
Yeah.
That is the way they have strength, is through keyboards. When I've taught my son and my 2 stepsons that the biggest problem in life, everything is based off of this one simple thing. No one is ever held accountable. If you trash talk somebody from afar, you're a very small person. You never should say something about a human being that you would not say to them to their face.
I call it the elevator rule.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And I told my boys, you talk trash, you get smacked in the face. That's the way it is. So choose your words carefully and the way you represent yourself to people and the way you treat people. It's going to come back to you if you don't. That's the way I've taught them.
I completely agree with that. I used to, in my younger days, I used to let nothing slide. Used to fight all the time. I enjoyed it. And, but now, you know, got older and I have kids, trying to, you know, set a good example. And,
you don't want them to do what you did.
Exactly. Right. And I got 3 little girls. They're the light of my life. And, but I also want them to know, and I hope they do, that, you know, I'll protect them and our family, you know, 100%. At all costs. And, I don't know if it's just some weird social justice thing that I feel that I need to serve, but when people are even rude to other people, and I pull up this stoplight, now there's a little a car rear-ended this other car, and there wasn't a mark on the car in front. And there was a girl driving, you know, I think it was a Subaru, and she had to been, you know, maybe 16 for the last, you know, 7 hours. She looked like she shouldn't even be driving, but, you know, obviously she was 16 or so. And this grown man was just laying into her verbally at a stoplight. And I put that car in park. I said, Katie, I got to. She's like, and we're on the way to church, and a car full of my girls and my father-in-law. And I said, I need to go talk to this guy. And so I rolled down my window and I said something like, hey man, take it easy. And he looks at me, he goes, F you, keep driving, or something like that. And that's when I threw that sucker in park. And Katie's like, no. I'm like, this guy's probably done this his whole life.
Promise you.
And he has never got a case of act right. And now today is his day. And she's like,
to be held accountable.
Exactly. Because people are not afraid of, you know, getting hit in the mouth anymore. And, I think it's created a lot of bullies. It's created a lot of folks that don't know how to deal with adversity when they're getting made fun of. I think it's bad for our kids. I think it's bad for our society.
It is.
And I think it's a load of horseshit.
It is.
And
you're exactly right. That is not the first time that gentleman done that.
Nope.
He's done that plenty of times, and ain't nobody ever checked him.
Yep.
He needed checked. Everybody needs a good ass whooping every once in a while.
I completely agree with that.
That changed my life.
Yeah.
I remember behind the grocery store that I worked at getting pinned under a shopping cart, and I don't know how many people was kicking me. Maybe it was just one, but I felt like it was 4 or 5. And that was my first good ass whooping. I won't never forget my dad come over, and that's back, let me tell you how long ago this was. It's back when you had the Polaroid. You had the plug-in flash.
Shake that shot.
Yeah, he was standing by. I was laying in a big chair, both eyes swole shut. And I could barely just crack them. And he's just laughing. And he's like, do I need to even ask what happened? I said, them other dudes look way worse than me, man. And he's like, yeah. And he's looking at my hands. My hands was all beat up. And I said, I give it hell. But I promise you, he still has them pictures somewhere. But you know what? My fault. And that I got held accountable. And I never forgot that. Again, that's the problem. People get by without any consequences.
Yep.
And that's what's wrong with this country.
I couldn't agree more. And going back to the keyboard warriors, I just can't help, like, so many different scenarios and thoughts go through my head when I was reading these, like, 10,000 negative comments, right? And the main one being, like, what would you do if he walked in the room? Would you want a picture with him? Would you be nice to him? Would you say this to his face?
Not
would
gonna
you
say shit.
Yeah. Would you act different? My guess is you would not say these words to his face.
No way.
Right?
No way, because they understand there may be some consequences.
Yeah.
And people, the majority of people are not equipped to deal with consequences. That's the problem.
Completely agree.
You have to, there's decisions you make as a grown man, and you should stand by those, and you should teach your children that's the way you operate. And that is the problem. Everybody running around now with the cell phone trying to video everything. So, they think that stops people. Well, if I decide that I'm in the right and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I don't care how many cameras you got. You might get it stuck somewhere if you're not careful. I feel sorry for our police and our first responders. Every time they go into a situation, you got 5,000 people with phones trying to catch them doing something wrong. It blows my mind that anybody would even want to be a cop anymore. It's sad.
I was just about to bring that up because I was, you're right. They're just looking for them to slip up somehow. And guess what? That human being, there's a human being behind that badge. He has a family. He has a father. He has, a wife. He has kids. And guess what? We make mistakes. Everyone does. And someone catches a small mistake. Now this guy's, career's in jeopardy. His family's in jeopardy.
Not only he loses his job, but he could go to prison.
Yep.
Over nothing. But then yet you got people in this country, it's all over the news. You're an illegal in this country, undocumented, and you can't even send him back to his home country. He's got rights. No, he don't have rights. Fly right back over the country, give him a parachute, and poof, kick him right back out where he come from. But a lot of people don't agree with what Trump's doing. There are some things that I don't agree I think Trump should be doing quicker than what he's doing. I'm still pissed about the big, beautiful bill and the suppressors getting kicked out of that bill.
Yeah, what happened with that?
They just bartering to get the bill passed. And I'm sure the Dems is like, nope, that's coming out. This is coming out. This is coming out. And he signed off on it. And he should have said, nope, I'm not making the deal. The suppressors is staying because it's ear protection. It does not help you and aid you any way in doing anything with a firearm. Me and you can go, I have a license to carry. Most states, I can walk straight into a gun store and take that gun, pay the man, sign the paperwork, and walk out the door, but I can't put a suppressor on the end of it. It blows my mind.
It's so stupid, as I grew up, in the military, in the SEAL teams, and we had suppressors on everything, right? And they suppress the noise, but really they were flash suppressors, right? So to mitigate, muzzle flash, so the enemy couldn't see us. Well, I've been at a range all morning this morning, and no one had suppressors. And I hate being on a range without suppressors.
Absolutely.
My ears are still ringing real loud right now, and because we're doing all sorts of shooting drills, and they'll preach about ear pro and everything. Yes, that helps. Everything helps, right? But you know what the suppressor also does? It gets rid of that concussion that you get, when that gun's fired, right? And that is it percussion that comes, the shock wave that comes out of the end of the muzzle, and that can jar you, right? And so suppressors cut down on that. I think every gun should have a suppressor.
Yeah, and it's not a problem to get one in Africa.
You can go to True Value.
It's a lot harder to get a gun there than it is a suppressor. It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I wish that I would have known back in the day, because I have about 40% hearing in this right ear.
Yep.
Not just from that, but also a wreck. But shooting guns wrecked my hearing.
Are you left-handed?
I am now.
Yeah.
Because I only have vision in my left eye.
Okay.
So I had to switch. I shoot a bow right-handed. But I have to manipulate the sight on the other side of the bow. It's a long story. I'm sure I'll get into that tomorrow. But people ask me that all the time. But the main thing is you don't quit. You don't give up. You have to push through the things that you have to deal with. Landon's sitting right there. I mean, Landon's helped with this project of mine since he was probably 16 or 17. My manager, I've had him since the very day I started. He's been with me 19 years. I've seen all of their kids born. We have another guy that helps us in between the two, and he's got several kids now. Landon's married now, and it's time for him to have kids. So it's a family with us. And Justin coached them in T-ball. So that's how we all met. And it's just been what I do has just been a blessing. I've been lucky, but the outdoor space is a cycle. I remember when I started, it was kill, kill, kill. Big deer, a lot of animals. Then it started it was beauty TV. It was reverse intros, and it was slider shots, and it was the scenery, and then it goes back to kill TV. It just goes up and down and up and down, and I've never changed. I'm never going to change. This is who I am. I mean, I've barreled 500 rifles in my life. I've been doing bows for 35 years, probably longer. I've been bow hunting, years. A lot of people ask me all the time, how many deer you killed? I said, if I told you, you'd think I'm lying. So it's incredible amount, but I've been fortunate. I've been in the right place at the right time, and I know the right people, and everybody has their niche, and I just feel like this is my niche. So we still are one of the top rated shows on the network, and our social media platform is big, and that's why I really looked at that whole thing with Jay, and I thought to myself, I remember that exactly. And what set me off so bad is not just because I know what he deals with. It's because my wife also does TV with me. And she's very pretty. And when we post with her, our posts will be double or triple because they want to look at my wife. Fine. But we went through the same thing with the social media post. I know where your kids go to school. I'll kill your kids. I mean, we shot an animal. Now you want to murder a person because a person done something totally legal and harvested an animal. And without knowing that impala, certain blessed buck, when you think of an impala, you think of a tan impala with two horns. Well, there's gold ones, there's black ones, there's white ones. They breed these specifically to generate capital from American hunters. It is a business. And it just got all over me. I started reading some of them comments, and I'm like, you bastards. And because that's the same. And to the point, my wife just said, I'm done. It's not worth it. I'm nervous all the time. Had she stayed on course, and Landon will verify this, she did a show for 2 years. The first year she done the show, she won a golden moose. I never won a golden moose. She had best new show, and several different articles came out, and she was the top female in outdoor TV. And from being afraid something would happen to her children, she stopped it. And she would probably be equal to me or bigger on her platform, which translates into a lot of dollars. And they took that away because they got on the phone and they know the nerves to hit.
How do you think you could stop it or slow it down?
You don't want me to say what I want to say.
Yeah, tracking.
The people that own, that started all these social media platforms need to, they need to go away. They have created, so I'm going to be, I push somebody down in the parking lot and they hit their head on the curb. Okay, well, I'm a murderer.
Yep.
But probably how many people get killed every year because of a post online, something for sale, and they drive over there to try to see, and they get killed? How many times does that happen? How many divorces has happened? How much infidelity has happened because of social media platforms? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not even safe to let your kids get on any of the social media platforms. And I say it like this all the time. We talk to our network. Okay. It used to be linear TV was 80%, digital is 20%. Now it's social media is 80%, linear is 20%. And I go into a meeting and say, guys, I've dropped another sponsor. Your ratings, your reach to 50 million homes is now 30 million homes because cable networks are dropping them and dropping them. And it's harder for me to make a living. So how do I explain to one of my biggest paying sponsors that they say to me, linear TV don't matter anymore. It's all social media. Okay. Well, certain platforms allow kill shots or explicit shots or content. But what happens if that one guy sitting at the top goes, today, I'm done with that. He's a liberal. I don't want to see no more blood. I don't want to see no more bullet impacts. All of the influencers that have a cell phone that do what they do on a daily basis suddenly go out of business.
Very true. Where are you putting most of your effort now? Is it YouTube? Or
we just really started hammering YouTube pretty heavy. I mean, we're really strong on Facebook. We're growing really fast on TikTok. Instagram is pretty good for us. And that's a better question too for Lando, because Lando is he was green in the beginning and now he basically handles all my stuff. Justin has other things. He does racing stuff and other, so he's grown. But I'm glad. Me and Landon was just talking about this the other night. I'm glad to see that my guys are growing outside of just what we do. Lando is a real estate agent, and he also has a drone company. And so it's you have to be versatile and change what you're doing, and we have over the years, man. And at being 53 years old, it's not easy. You know, because I really could care less about social media. And I'll let the cat out of the bag. I've never told anybody this before. But when you're looking at my social media platform, most of the time you're seeing a comment from Landon because I'm not allowed. Because anybody gets on there and gives me the MF, I'll tell them, address, please, drop pin, and we'll sort this out like grown-ass men. We don't need to talk to each other via text on a Facebook Messenger app, whatever. But I hate that, and I know it's evolution, man. Everybody has their time. I don't feel like my time's up. I can hunt with anybody. I can talk with anybody. I know guns. I know bows. I own a bow company. So, and we're actively being sued by Bowtech. Before I walked in here, I was on a phone call.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a constant, it's not I'm a TV personality. It's that we have 400 million things going on at one time. But Sam, I have to do that because I talked to you early about my guys. I feel responsible for them. And when times get hard, Lando he's the one that's took it in the shorts many times, and he had to take a cut in pay. And I took our manager, our boss, Justin, Landon's boss, to Australia. And he asked me, we was sitting in a little restaurant, and he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm all right, man. You know, it's just a lot of stress and this and that. And we was going through some transitions at the time with sponsors, and we had lost a big sponsor, and Landon was like cut in half on his pay. And I'm like, first of all, and we had just seen a kid with a terminal illness. I can't tell you how many of them I've seen. And I told Justin, I love doing this, but you also have to remember, I'm a human being. That devastates me to see a 3-year-old little boy that has an inoperable brain tumor that is going to die, and he's right over there playing in the gravel. And I can't take care of my guys. Landon was a kid then. And I said, not being able to take care of you guys, that's my responsibility. That don't fall on y'all. At the end of the day, something bad goes on, Mossberg Company is not going to call them. They're going to call me and say, what the hell is that?
Yep.
How are you going to fix that? And I have to take care of that. But I want to make sure my guys are taken care of, and they're loyal to me. And that in itself is how we have survived.
The pressure is immense, right?
Bad.
And today, show some vulnerability here, and just to be completely honest, man, I was just tired today. Had a long day yesterday, woke up, went right to the gun range, and, came home for maybe 35 minutes, slammed some food down my throat, boom, back out the door. And I have the same, the rhetoric you just spoke, I have that same internal dialogue. Like, okay, I am proud of my company. I'm proud to be the boss. I'm proud. And you know what? That comes with a
huge responsibility.
Yep. And I will put that on my shoulders because, and you know how it is when time gets tough, the only thing to get you out of hard times is hard work. You got to double down.
That's it,
and you got to work
and that's
harder.
what we're doing.
And when you have a good day, the only thing to make it a great day is to work harder.
That's
and
it.
If you have those great days, the only way to make them repeatable is to work harder.
Yeah,
And
you can't sit in this chair right here and somebody's going to come walking through the door and say, hey, brand new contract.
Yep,
I
need you to
do
give you
this.
150
Dr.
grand.
Pepper ain't going to walk through there and cut me a check for 1.5.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have the can, and they got it. Now what I've seen is what people want more than anything is from a manufacturing or a retailer or whatever they are, they want a return on investment. Whereas it used to be, I could walk into a show, line of people everywhere. They see eyes on, oh man, he draws a big crowd.
Yep.
But now that was a fictitious return on investment. They just thought, okay, the market's good. He's absolutely our guy. He's a big part of why we're doing as good as we are. But now they want to see physical return on investment. How many scopes can you sell?
Yep.
How many boxes of ammo can you sell? Can you prove? How about we give you a code? Sure. Let's get a code.
Yeah.
And let's make a signature bow with your name on it. Sure, we'll sell one. And then I'm going to get blamed. There's no win-win. So anybody that does what I do, if you did an endorsement for a flak jacket, do not ever let them put your name on it, because there's somebody that don't like you. Just like somebody that don't like me. And it goes back to what my grandpappy said. It's the bad things they think about. They never going to say, thank you for your service. I know because of what you done that I can sit here right now with this AC at 67 degrees, $20,000 worth of lights around, and we can have a conversation. But we could not have that if we had armed guards at every single door trying to keep bad people off of us. Because of people like you, I have the luxury of being able to go get in the car and drive and pick my restaurant where I want to go eat. And that's what people forget.
It's pretty sad, when you break it down like that and think about it holistically. Like,
sucks.
Yeah. Like,
in general.
What are we doing? Why can't we just be nice to each other? Why can't, you just, or like, I'm not asking anybody to go around, and you don't have to be friends with everybody. You don't have to like everybody, but show some damn common courtesy and be respectable as a man or as a human being.
That's it. And that's the problem. Our people, the parents are not instilling that into children. They want to say to an 8-year-old that's turned purple and fell in the floor and gets up and kicks his mom in the leg and leave me alone. Or now cuss the mom. And like, okay, and you're about to raise the hand and you got 40 people standing over there and don't you hit that kid. That is the problem. No accountability. Need that face slapped off and just got to keep them in check. And I watch a lot of stuff on TV. There's really nothing that you can watch anymore that's decent. So I catch myself watching Frasier. I'll kick it on. I've seen the episode so many times, it knocks me out. I go to sleep. The old man on there, Martin, basically is telling Frasier, in general, and it's horrible to say, but in general, people are just rotten. They've had no teaching. My son, his senior year of football, I mean, this kid was a beast. Like protein, eating right, before the diabetes diagnosis, all this. He was just a big, monstrous kid. And I could go into an event, like a fundraiser for the football team, and he'd be over there with his buddies, and you know how they how they get. You get 4 or 5 of them. They're all over there giggling and being stupid. And I taught him the snap. I could snap my fingers, and he's looking straight at me. And all them boys over the years, I hauled them. I had an excursion. I hauled them to and from the games to Whataburger, $100 every time I took them in Whataburger. Triple meat, double fries, you know the drill. And but I as he got older, I always taught him to respect people, and he did. And I remember we went into a Subway. I got all of them. There's probably 7 or 8 of them in there. All of them lineman magnums. They're all getting, I'm about to spend $200, whatever. This little lady behind the counter, she might be 4'10". She was a little round lady. Sweetest thing in the world. He's cutting up with his buddy. She says to him, "What kind of bread would you like?" He goes in there all the time. "Italian herb and cheese, of course." "You want what you usually get?" she says. I'm standing right there. He's talking to one of his buddies. He spins around to her like, I was talking to somebody. I'll answer you in just a second. That's the look he had. And then he goes, "Yeah." I blacked out on him. He's that much taller than me. Right by the shirt, right out the front door. I said, "We'll be right back." And I told him, "Boy, I did not teach you to be that way." What? I said, "You cannot tell me you don't know what I'm talking about. You never disrespect her because she works at Subway."
That's right.
You think she wants to work at Subway? She wants to be standing over here where you're standing, having her sandwich paid for and having you make it. So she can say, "Yeah," to you. I said, "If you ever do that to me again, I'm going to embarrass you in front of you people. If you do that in front of me again, your boys are going to laugh at you for the rest of the year because I'm going to black both of your eyes." And he went back in there and he apologized to her. I seen her about a month later. Believe it or not, she was at Walmart. She works at Subway during the day and a checker at Walmart at night. And I seen her and I got in line and I looked up and there she was. And I just thought, boy, she's finna say some stuff, And she checked me out and she, just as I was ready to go, she said, she come around and hugged me and said, "I want to tell you how much I appreciate you doing that." I said, "Have you seen him in there again?" She said, "Oh, all the time." I said, "How does he act?" "Every time, yes, ma'am." I said, "That's the way it ought to be."
One thing I try to teach my kids every day is situation awareness. Because I believe this falls in that category. It depends on what lens you look through. But who's around you, what's around you, and your actions.
And see, that's the way you was trained.
Yeah.
Like you have training on that, so you know what you're talking about. Like being alert of your surroundings.
Yep. Especially, I have 3 girls. They're going to be all beautiful, just like their mom. And, but it falls into the respect realm that you were speaking of just as much. You have to read the room. You have to be situation aware, where you're at, who's around you, and act accordingly. Right?
Exactly.
And not only that, then you could take that a step further, when you're older. And, I've had my just now teaching my oldest one, what rapport is, right? And if you're nice to, everyone around you and you're situation aware and you can read the room, you're going to be able to build rapport with someone really, really quick, right?
That's 100% right.
That is what makes the world go around. That is networking, and that is just being a good person and situation aware will get you light years ahead of other folks. I don't care if you don't know how to read.
And man, Sam, being a dad, there is nothing better. It's the best gift of all.
It is.
When someone comes up to you and tells you how respectful and how wonderful your child is.
I completely agree with that.
Is that the best thing in the world?
I take so much pride.
Your daughter is so sweet.
Yep.
She's so kind. Mm-hmm. Or you got somebody come up other than that and tell you, well, you need to pop that kid in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And that's, I did not have to force anything on my son. Very few times that he slipped. But I never let it pass. Mm-hmm. I never let it pass, and you cannot. So we're not only talking about type 1 diabetes and how awesome I think Jay is for being able to overcome what he's overcome, because they see the little sensor on the arm, and they think, they got diabetes. Well, there's a hell of a lot of difference between type 1 and type 2. Mm-hmm. Type 2 can be controlled by most people from diet, weight loss, things of that nature. You're not making insulin.
Yeah.
And you have to artificially take insulin to stay alive. Let's just be honest of what the hell it is.
Yeah.
If you do not have that insulin, you're in lots of trouble. Mm-hmm. Very bad trouble. Mm-hmm. And I want what I'm saying, no matter what Jay is, no matter whether he was a football player or not, have a little damn respect for what the man is going through, because you really don't know that situation unless you've had it yourself or a family member. Maybe cousin Bob don't mean the same thing to you as your only damn son. Mm-hmm. So I know, I have cried. Mm-hmm. And when I talk about it, I think about how proud I am of him, of being able to handle it.
Yeah.
But I also think about what is he missing and what does he really have to put up with? And he's had to completely alter his life. He does really well with it. Mm-hmm. He don't really let it bother him. But just seeing him have to lug around that little cylinder that's got the ice pack in it to keep his insulin cold all the time. He's everybody thinks their kid's the best kid in the world. My kid is a good kid. He didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Jay didn't deserve that either. But all I'm saying is, what chaps my ass is be informed when you decide. Don't knee-jerk a response because he's an NFL player. He's a good-looking guy. He's a big guy. Mm-hmm. He's in shape. And, he's worth $400 trillion, so he just goes over there blowing everything down. You don't know the situation. That is your opinion. Research, find out what happened, do a little bit more studying, and then pause. And that's what I give everybody, what everybody needs to do that operates digital platforms. Pause, process, take 5 minutes, then respond.
That's a fact.
I learned this from the CEO of Bear Archery.
If you're mad, wait till the next day to respond.
Exactly what I was going to tell you. This gentleman's name is Jack Bowman. He was the CEO of Bear Archery for years. He told his marketing guys, if you get a negative email from anyone, whether it be a vendor, whether it be one of our partners, one of our sponsored shooters, take 24 hours to process before you respond. I never forgot that.
This episode is brought to you by Alpin Optics. If you spend time in the outdoors, whether you're hunting, hiking, bird watching, or just taking in the view, good optics could make all the difference. Alpin builds binoculars and scopes that are clear, dependable, and made to handle real use in the field. Their image stabilizing binoculars are a favorite of mine. Even if you're glassing offhand or on the move, the view stays steady and sharp. It makes long sessions easier on your eyes and helps you watch things you'd otherwise miss. Whether you're spotting game or you just want to see the world a little clearer, Alpin's gear is built to bring the outdoors into focus. Check them out at alpinoptics.com. Whether you're trekking in the backcountry, bird hunting, or just chasing squirrels in the backyard, your dog needs fuel that can keep up with the adventure. And that's where Montana Dog Food comes in. Born in the heart of Big Sky Country, this isn't just dog food. It's adventure-grade nutrition, Crafted with responsibly sourced ingredients from the Western U.S. and freeze-dried to lock in every ounce of goodness, Montana Dog Food Company delivers clean, powerful fuel for your pup's wild side. No shortcuts, no synthetic junk, just premium, nutrition-packed meals and treats designed to support strong muscles, healthy joints, and endless energy, whether you're trekking trails or snuggling by the fire. So give your dog the food that fuels their adventurous spirit. Go to montanadogfoodco.com and feed your dog the best.
You know, I've made the opposite mistake many times, you know, when I was young at work, you know, getting an email and
pisses you off.
Oh, and I fire right back. And then I walk down to the guy's office and then like, why did I even leave a digital footprint of me firing back that I'm pissed off? That's, you know, that's a rookie move right there in its own. I should have just, you know, picked up the phone or I just walked down here, you know, and then I got taught that by one of my mentors. Like, hey, if you're upset, you can go down there and talk to him, but is that conversation going to be fruitful? Probably not.
And I say that, but I also need to practice what I preach because I'm really bad. And let me tell you what I'm bad about. This is going, he's laughing his ass off because I'm old, so I don't want to put the readers on to text. So I'll just voice text.
Yeah.
And Bo is a boat, and people are like, what the hell? And some of these guys at these companies would be like, I would text, and then I accidentally hit the space bar. So I got 2 words, 1 word, 3 words. And it's just like, what the hell is that? That's a knee-jerk reaction response. And they deserve me to take the time to do it properly because people, if you capitalize the entire text, you might as well be hollering. See, it took me years to know that. And then when you add 14 exclamation points, that means you're pissed off. So that's a 53-year-old trying to tell these kids how to text. But it's just part of, I never thought I would be a texter, but that's how I operate my business every day. And I should practice what I preach because I'm a hothead, especially when I got a lot of stress on me.
Yep.
And it goes back to like, I see my son, I see his blood sugar levels change. And if he gets a little bit low, he can be a little bit aggressive. Or if he gets a little too high, his fuse is a little shorter.
I imagine so.
And I have to tell him, hey, but he'll say, you're right. But my wife says it better than anyone. He's all the good things Brian is and none of the bad. So they have a great relationship. My son's mother is wonderful. Without her, I don't know that he would have got through the first couple of years. It bothered him so much, and there's depression involved with that because you want to go out and do something, and if Jay is not ready and he don't have all of the things that he needs, he can't just take off in a Jeep and you guys go right up over the mountain and come back down and he's gone for 3 hours.
I mean, you know how it is. As soon as you leave the door,
got to check it.
Yep.
He's got to make sure he's got all of his stuff. And I'm just simply saying that's what I wanted to talk about. I mean, we can talk about real quick how I started because that's the way we wanted to start it. But I wanted to jump right on the type 1 because and the way people treated Jay, shame on all of y'all. You should be ashamed of yourself. You done the man because he's an NFL football player. The root of the core is not because he harvested a sable and many other animals. It's because you think he was born a gifted athlete. No, he worked his entire damn life.
That's a fact.
To get to the level he was at. He got diagnosed with a horrible disease. And he overcame it. And that's the thesis of what I wanted to talk about. It's not about me. It's about what I think about Jay. And people that are chicken shit, pardon me, the way they responded to him. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself. So me, started hog hunting when I was a kid. I've been hunting my whole life. It's all I wanted to do. I used to read articles on Larry Weishuhn. All the guys that you see, the older guys now, which I'll be there in 10 years. And I was consumed with it. That's all I wanted to do. So I went to machine school. When I got out of high school, I worked several jobs. Worked at the power plant, heavy equipment operator, things like that. I opened a car lot. At the time, I was learning how to machine, and we had a guy close that was putting barrels on some of our guns. And as I learned more about conventional machining, I'm like, I'm watching this guy. He's like, come over and watch me. I watched him do one gun. And I said, all I got to have is the tools. I don't have the tools. And I bought the tools, and I said, we're done with that. Me and my dad drove to Dallas and put a lathe in the back of the truck. Buddy of mine built the stand for it, and I screwed up about 10 gun barrels right off the bat. And once I got the hang of it, I can completely do all the machine work, chamber-wise, and blueprinting and action in 4 hours flat.
That's impressive.
So really fast. So I've learned I can look at the barrel threads and know they're almost to dimension. I can look at the tenon length and know it's almost to dimension because it's repetitive. It's what I've done. So I said, I'm building guns that people's never heard of. I'm shooting pigs at 500 yards when before anybody had dials on a scope. And they're like, what the hell? Me and Landon was just talking about this over lunch. And I said, I gotta get back into bow hunting again. I just quit it for a while. I got me a bow. I shot a bow without sights for a long time. Once I started shooting pigs with a bow, it's like cocaine, man. It's nothing better. Pigs were made for archery equipment.
I absolutely love pig hunting. This is, this song, this song, I believe it's something like, my idea of heaven's chasing white-tailed deer. My idea of heaven is I'm on a ranch in Texas in a pickup truck. There's a feeder behind it, right? And it's big enough where we could do figure eights or big loops, and we're just driving around. We're coring the roads, putting corn down and driving it again. And all the hogs that come out, we just pop out and blast them. And
that's what I'm talking about.
And just keep going.
People don't understand.
That is
it's
my
better than
idea
deer
of heaven.
hunting.
Oh, yeah.
And my first episode of TV, I say, a white-tailed deer on TV is dumber than a wild mature boar hog. And physically had people tell me, you can't say that. When a whitetail is on the cover of a magazine, they sell 10 times more copies than when there's a hog or even a sheep or something like that on a magazine. I said, well, I'm just speaking the obvious. A deer stands there and stomps. A pig gets the wind wrong, he's gone. And he ain't coming back. No matter how much corn you got piled up right over there. He's like, I know what that smells like, but I also smell a person. And I'm not going to be walking around over there. And you said many times I've said over a bait. And I've learned tricks over the years, but they always circle. If you bait in the same place, they're always going to come. You want to know where the wind's blowing? Watch the pig. He comes to there, wind's like this.
Like a coyote coming in the call.
All the way around, and then that's it. That's exactly where the wind's blowing right there. So what I started doing, I would sour corn, whether it be, I knew a guy that worked at a beer distributor, and when the beer went out of date, he would just give me whatever they had, and I would just put it in a 30-gallon drum, pour beer on corn and sour it, and then I would put my main bait where my shot was right here, but I would figure, okay, the wind's like this, pig's going to come from over here. I would go over there and put a little handful of that rotten bait right on the ground and let them get that on their nose. When they get that on their nose, it's hard for them in that next 10 minutes that they're going to try to approach that bait site to smell you. So I learned that over the years.
How far away from you do you put it downwind?
About 30 yards from the actual shot bait where you're going to shoot.
Got it.
That's all. It's just a decoy. It's something that's back a little ways that they feel comfortable. They can snipe it. And then once they start eating it and they get it on their nose, I've killed so many big hogs from just that rotten, because they can't smell you through that rotten funk.
That's a great
Either that
idea.
or you're going to have to grease yourself with all that rotten corn and stuff. But over the years, man, they're just so cagey and hard to kill with the bow. And I tell people this all the time. If you teach yourself how to consistently harvest mature pigs with a bow, you can kill anything on the planet. The only thing that I will compare to that would be a baboon or a native hog to Africa, a bush pig.
Yep.
And I have yet to kill one in the daylight. My wife's killed 2. She says I'm not patient. I'll set my bow down, and she's deadly. So basically, pig hunting. I started taking people hunting. I took some people that had big shows on big networks, and they sucked. And their producers like, you need to have a show. And I basically go to the network, and I said, what do you think about a pig hunting show? I don't think that's going to work. Okay.
It was my favorite show.
Yeah. And then we did the helicopter. I don't think we can air that. I said, Monty, as we're speaking, here comes an R-44. There's a 300-pound hog hanging off the skid with a hunter safety system vest around it, and the helicopter's flying point down. And he's like, are you serious? I said, this will be the highest rated TV episodes ever in outdoor TV. And they was reluctant. Sportsman Channel would air it. Outdoor Channel would not air it. Ted Nugent was on Outdoor. I was on Sportsman. And it really pissed him off that Outdoor Channel, not even for him, would air that. And then, which I own the Apocalypse franchise. That's mine. So they become the highest rated outdoor TV episodes in history of all of TV, outdoor TV.
The hog helo hunt.
Yep. That's some of the, and Landon will tell you some of those hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views. When I go to an event, people are going to talk to me about prairie dogs, popping prairie dogs, and helicopter hog hunting, and maybe a little bit of airboat. That's all. They don't never say, man, that was an awesome whitetail you killed. Not one time in my career. I shot a 157-inch 8-point with a bow that we had on camera. My wife had him on camera facing the blind at 15 yards, and he took to chase a doe, and she was already at full draw, and I was praying to God she didn't touch it off because I knew he was moving faster than she thought. I told the guy, your stands are wrong. Let's pop a blind up right by the road. You drive by here every day, right? He said, yeah, I check that feeder almost every day. I said, we're going to set on the tailgate. We're going to step off the tailgate. You're going to drive around to the feed pen, rattle the barrel, and leave. And we had the deer right in front of us. She had to leave. He got in the blind and filmed me, and I killed that deer. And I've never had one person say to me, that was a 44-yard shot. That was a great shot on a monster 8-point in Oklahoma. Not one time has anybody even ever said that to me. It's always hogs, prairie dogs, airboat.
You know, we caught a lot of grief. We went hog hunting out of a helo in West Texas, I believe the year before last, and because we had about 1 million acres to fly, and a bunch of the landowners, they were called in and they said, hey, you know, if you guys are doing this, could you please come over to our house too?
Yeah,
and
come to our ranch and kill pigs.
Yep. And
they don't expect you to recover them.
No.
And that's why you got beat up.
Yeah.
Because they want to know what'd you do with all them pigs.
Yep. And we flew this one house. I'm like, whoa, we're getting real close to the house. And the guy's talking to the helo pilot, and he's like, no, they live right by the barn. You see the horses? Like,
flush them.
Yep. And that's exactly what we did. And then our guide came down. He's like, hey, how do you guys feel about, shooting Aoudad ewes? And said, well, we'd love to. Why? He's like, well, the farmer or the landowner, they want about 700 of them. 700.
They're overpopulated in that part of the country.
Yes, sir. And it's because they're an invasive species. They're spreading disease to the sheep that are a native species.
Absolutely.
And the sheep hunts are, that's a $10,000, $20,000 hunt. I don't even know, right? But it's an expensive hunt,
yeah.
right?
Expensive.
And they're spreading disease. Could you go out and wax them down? And we did. We got the damn game wardens called on because we posted some stuff on social media. We had people calling the game wardens, geolocating, trying to figure out where we were at. And then the game warden called, our pilot knew the game warden. He's like, yep, deal with them all the time. And he's like, hey, I'll send you I'm going to call it the flight log, but the GPS tracker of where he's flown. Because they're like, oh, they're over here flying by my house and shooting here. And I don't know. I mean, that place is probably like 20 miles from where we're at. Like, no, we're not doing any of that. And he's like, I'll send you all my flight logs. I'll send you everything.
Yep.
And he's like, okay, send it to me. And he called back and he apologized to us. He's like, sorry, these people are just see what you guys are doing. And I think they're just calling in and making this shit up. And,
Promise you.
And
Promise you.
And they didn't take into
I get it every day, man.
Yeah.
These guys don't even really let me see some of the bad stuff because I'll black out on somebody, man. I ain't got no, you threaten my kids, I will drive my truck through your house. So that's just where I'm at. Like I put myself in this position to be this person, but that still don't mean that me or you or Jay should have to be assaulted.
Yeah.
Like you threaten where I come from. I tell a guy, I'll beat your ass. That's a terroristic threat. So what's the difference when somebody threatens one of your kids on social media? That's a terroristic threat.
I completely agree. You know, I read some of those comments. I'm like, this cannot be legal.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. And there's nobody in cyberspace that polices that and holds people. That should be the name of this podcast, holding people accountable. It's either, you know this because you was a special forces guy. You have to be, as a man, you have to stand up. And I say, Landon, I don't like that damn shirt you got on. That's stupid. And I projected anger towards him, and it's his decision whether he punches me in the face or not. If he punches me in the face or not, he does. I deserved it. I started that dialogue, and everybody now assumes that nobody's going to react.
And
that's the problem.
It blows my mind. You know, growing up in the SEAL teams, it's a very interesting, dynamic. And you are held 100% accountable
for everything you do,
everything you say, everything you do. And it's the lion's den. If I say something to you and you don't like it, you're cleared hot just to come right at me. And hey, back up. These two are fighting. Let them finish. All right. You need sewn up or anything? You good? Okay. You got it out of your system. If it's not out of your system, take it down to the fight club and continue the fight. And it was completely socially acceptable to call somebody out if on something that they've said or something that they did that was not right, and make it into a physical altercation, right? But it also has its extreme positive sides, right? You were very conscious of everything you said and everything you did, and it better be for the betterment of the team, betterment of the Navy, and the betterment of yourself. And if you weren't doing that, then
you would be held accountable.
Exactly.
And that's the problem, man. Everybody gets by with just saying whatever they want to say because they just assume that nobody is going to do nothing. And those same people that negatively commented or threatened Jay or his family are substandard human beings.
I completely agree.
And they need about 2 weeks in the situation that you was in with somebody that would kick their ass, and they would have a whole different outlook on life.
It's a good outlook on life.
Yeah.
And because I believe it's healthy, right? Because you are held accountable at every level, right? Whatever you do at home, how your behavior it's not a 9 to 5. This is, a way of life, right? And I, am very thankful for that because I've experienced firsthand, my actions having severe consequences, right? And
yes, sir.
I think that is extremely important, especially for myself, because it teaches you how to behave in different arenas. It teaches you how to behave appropriately when you're upset, when you're sad, and it teaches you to control your emotions. And overall, it just makes you a better person.
Right. And it's not about you protecting just yourself and the person that you are. It's when you're stupid, you project that over on other people. And then you not only make yourself look like an ass, but that affects your children.
Yep.
Like you go to a school event with your daughter and freak out on somebody. That's something that they have to deal with from now on. Because you made that decision for them to be an idiot. And then people say, oh, her dad's crazy.
Yeah.
Kids rely on us to guide them in the right direction. And everybody needs that little short boot camp for reality.
Yep.
Because unfortunately, everybody's home situation is maybe not realistic.
Yep.
You got somebody that spouts off. I always told my ex-wife when my son was little, I had him trained to the snap. Or if we went to a flea market in Texas, it's the biggest flea market in the world, and there's 10,000 people around, I got a chain on him. And I'm not losing my kid. And people's like, he ain't a dog. I said, what you need to do is mind your business. Don't get in my bubble and don't get on the end of that chain. Or you supposed to get something. So, but I always told her, you correct him until it's time for me to correct him. He talks back to you, I handle it. And very few times she said, hey, she could tell him, okay, I'm going to tell your dad, or I'm going to call your dad. And when he was small, the fear of God was in him. That's the way I was raised. And you knew that you was going to be held accountable. My mom and dad divorced when I was 7. He lived 2 miles from us. She handled everything. My mom was very small, 5 foot tall, weighed 110 pounds. But I remember her telling me many times, where are you going? I'm going to town. You need to be back at 11. I come back at 12:30. She's sitting in the chair. I've already called your dad. He's coming by here tomorrow after work. Petrified me, because I knew. And he just simply told me. Any more of that, truck's gone.
You know, another interesting part about accountability, right? So people spout out and they, say whatever they feel is necessary. It could be mean, whatever, right? They just diarrhea the mouth, shout something out from their point of view, right? You don't know what type of day that guy's having. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know.
You don't know his wife told him, I want a divorce. I'm going to take your kids.
Yep.
We have to file bankruptcy.
Yep.
You got guys borderline, man. You really don't know you're about to light that fuse.
And you're like stress at work. Hey, I got my company. It's been slow. This last quarter, I've this stress. Then I got to travel here. I got to travel here. I'm upside down already. I'm tired. Like
you're not seeing your kids enough.
Yeah.
And then those kind of things.
And then people attack them.
Yeah. It's like most people that we're talking about probably have a little dog. It would be like me walking into your house and kicking your dog like a football. Where is that going to put you mentally? Or pushing one of your kids down?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You don't know the situation. And most people like yourself, you've been trained. You know how to compose yourself mentally. What you did, you could not make hasty decisions because lives was at stake. So people don't understand that that's how serious it can be. Like you say, sometimes somebody will say something to me. People will be around, and then there's always somebody that's going to have a smart ass comment. Depends on what kind of day I'm having. Sometimes I lose my mind on people, and I try not to be that guy.
Yeah.
My grandmother was a Sunday school teacher for 33 years at a small rundown little church.
Patience of a saint, I bet.
In Mahia, Texas. And I went to church every Sunday. And my wife currently, both her grandfathers on each side was both pastors. And we've just recently really started getting back into getting our mind right.
Yeah, good for you.
Getting back into church. Honestly, Landon can vouch for this. I've slowed my drinking way down. I like to have some beers in the evening. And my wife understands that because she knows that during the day I have an incredible amount of stress on me, and I just want to be alone.
Yep.
I don't get in the car and go down to the bar. I stay in my garage or in my little work area where I work on my bows, and I don't bother anybody. I make sure I grill for them, I cook for them, but I catch myself, and I have a rule: I never drink before 7 o'clock. So
that's a good rule.
That way I don't get too loaded. But I went 100 and something days without anything. And then just recently I started back where I'll drink 1 or 2. And then it got to be 3 or 4. And then I'm right back to the spot where I got to cut myself back off again. Like me and Landon was just talking about that. I may have 1 or 2 if you're in a social setting. But other than that, man, them days for me is gone. And I feel like, something's crazy, man. I say this and people think I'm crazy, but like, I pray all the time and about things. I pray for my son to be healed. I pray for God to put that disease on me and take that away from him. That's really weird to say that, but I would take it from him in a second.
I understand. And I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
When my kids are sick, and just have a fever, and you could tell they're real uncomfortable. If I had a superpower, my superpower would be able to take hurt from my kids.
Absolutely. Reach down there and suck it right out of them.
I can
and it wouldn't matter if you stayed sick for 45 days.
Yep. I'll go puke. I'll take this from you, and no
Landon
problem.
will know this too when he has children. Like everything goes out the window. You love your wife, absolutely. I love Junie more than anything in the world, other than my son. My point, I want to say this because it's important. I don't pray to be rich. I don't pray for stupid things. I don't ask unless it's something really serious. I'm like, okay, whether it's a lawsuit that could affect my whole life and including my people. These guys are my family.
Yeah.
They're not my employees. We work together. They need me. I'm always there. But I've never asked God for anything, honest to God, that has not been answered in some way or form.
That's amazing.
I've been very lucky. I catch myself on something dumb, like, well, God, I hope that this works out. Well, it don't. But I feel like God knows that my heart wasn't like I was talking.
Yep.
I wasn't talking to him. And I feel this thing like driving down here today by myself. I cut the radio off. For me, the vision is very simple. He's always right there. I don't know why my mind goes there. It's his face in a cloud, and he's right there. And I know when I ask for something and I don't feel like that was right, I go back to it again, and I talk through it and I explain it out. And this is why I'm asking, and thank you. Well, I love you, and all those things. And I can honestly say the serious things in my life, it's always pretty much been answered. So when you don't, if you're not a Christian person and you don't believe in I don't know how you make it every day. I could not make it every day without having that person, God, with me, because I am not the nicest person in the world. I make mistakes. I try to apologize for my mistakes. And that's part of your being a religious person and your beliefs in your heart. No matter, you can say the words, but if you don't believe it in here, he knows it. That's why your prayers are not being answered, because you don't believe it in here. You take him into your heart and you believe, and that don't necessarily mean that you have to go to church Sunday, Wednesday, 900 years in a row.
Absolutely.
We
absolutely.
can sit right here individually, and as long as you ask and he knows that that's in your heart, it's the same thing. So that's your personal relationship with God. And I think I'm freaking Landon totally out. He's never heard me talk like this. But I keep that private because to me, that's a very private thing.
Likewise.
And I'm not vocal about, I don't run around, and I don't raise my hands up and do all that. My relationship with my man is me and him. And Junie had some things going on, and I prayed on them very hard. And she's doing a lot better.
Good.
And I pray every day, I pray for something, somehow, some way to help JD with the type 1 and how he can come out of that. And it's just, I've been very fortunate, man. Over the years, the bad things in my life that was really bad, I feel like he knows when he needs, when I need him, he's always answered for me, man.
Where do you find yourself praying at the most? Is there a location? Is it in bed, in the garage?
Believe it or not, it's driving.
Driving, okay.
When I'm by myself, I just turn the radio off. I get over in the right lane and actually run the speed limit so people ain't trying to run me off the road. And I just do my thing, man. And sometimes at night, But it's something that, like I say, I'm very private with what I do. I'm not a vocal person with that. I don't speak out like I should. Now, if I'm in the car by myself, I may just kind of talk through it and just say, God, can you, I'm looking at this situation. I'm hoping for the best outcome. This affects a lot of people in my life. I feel responsible for a lot of people in my life. I hope that this goes through. I hope that this goes through. And it's even today, I mean, not the best news, but better news than I thought. That affects all my people, including my family. So I got to say that, man. If you're not a God-fearing Christian person, believe in God, you're in trouble.
I feel. First of all, Brian, I'm in the same boat. Right? I'm Catholic and I pray every day, but I think this is the first time I've spoke about this on the podcast, right? And because I'm with you, that's my relationship, and I don't have to justify it to anybody. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. And, but
but it's cool too. You got a sick kid to pray with the wife. But at the core, you're saying,
yep,
that's your personal relationship with God.
Mm-hmm. And just like you, I have employees. And I have a company, and shit is not easy. It is not easy, right?
No.
So lately, I find myself praying for others, and vice myself, because I'll handle it. I just want them to be okay.
Yep.
Right. And then, you said something about, people not having, Christ in their life. And I think that's fine. However, I just don't think they've been through something bad enough yet to look up, because you'll never meet an atheist in a foxhole.
You're spot on. A lot of people misses that because, there's a Eric Church song that I listen to all the time. And it's, God is not just there for you in super bad times, but it seems like when something really, really bad happens and there's no other outlet, that's where people go. And you got to remember, you have he knows that it has to come from in here. Mm-hmm. If it's not coming from in here, you might as well be talking to that black wall right there. He knows every single thing that goes on in your life. And I tell you what, man, people, you're going to laugh at me about this, but Joel Osteen, for me, I can turn Joel Osteen on when I'm driving, and that is the most positive dude in the world. Mm-hmm. I would love to meet that guy sometime. Like, he has touched so many people, and he's so elegant the way he speaks and the way he explains every single. I've learned a lot by just listening to him on the radio. Mm-hmm. And it puts you in a better mood. Mm-hmm. But my main point, and yours, there is no set way. You don't got to go over here by this door and drop down on your knees.
No.
It can be driving down the highway. And for me, I told you, I feel like I know when I'm not connected. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm just like, okay, I'm having a bad day. I hope that bank deal goes through, whatever it is. I hope that real estate deal I'm trying to sell sells. But I'm like, I'm sitting here thinking, he's sitting up there like, no, talk to me. What to the core, me and you, from here. And I know when I don't deliver right. Mm-hmm. And I do it again, and I think, I just didn't feel it. And I do it again, and I'm like, there it is right there.
That's an interesting point, because
that's my routine.
I have never, gone back through, but I know the feeling you're talking about, where, you're praying, you're asking, and you
don't feel like you really fulfilled it.
And correct.
You didn't complete it.
Correct.
And for me, I have to go over it again.
Maybe
I asked for the same.
I'm going to do that.
I sat there and I think about, and for you, it could be a picture of God, Jesus on the wall above your couch in your living room. And that's the visual that I have. But my visual is his head is right here.
Yeah.
And I'm talking and I'm like, he's like, nah, I'm not picking that up. And I'm like, okay, you're right. And I have to dig deep.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you, dude, sometimes it gives me chills.
I bet.
It gives me chills. But I was raised that way. I was raised that way, and I was a wild ass kid. I got away from it. My grandmother she went to church till she was in her late 80s, till she couldn't go anymore. My wife's mom, that side of her family, they still have the little church and bunch. It's so old that I actually take pictures. When I'm inside that church, Uncle Frank is the preacher. His dad was a preacher, and Uncle Frank looks like Santa Claus, but he comes in there and he'll be in camo shirt, camo tie. He worked for the DEA undercover for 20 something years. He was one of the most decorated DEA agents in Oklahoma. I had no idea. Uncle Frank knows everybody. But it don't matter what he looks like and what he talks about. It's what he believes. And I see what he's instilled into his kids, which are almost my age.
Yeah.
And there's only maybe 10, 15 people in there total. And without the offerings and stuff of those people, that church don't survive. But you want to talk about rewind in time. And what I always thought like a church should be, not 300 people and a very well-spoken man that knows the scripture really well speaking it, which makes more sense to me. But I'm standing here listening to Frank last week talk, and I'm like, I don't even know where he's going. And then all of a sudden he makes his point, and then he attaches that to scripture. And like, he is not an elegant speaker. He is an undercover DEA agent with a big white beard. But I actually enjoy going back to church now.
Good.
Because me and you both know people.
Yeah.
That sets up on the front, that is a bail bondsman, or he owns a used car lot. And what do they say? In the scripture, they say, and I never forgot it, my ex-wife's dad told me this: it's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than it is a rich man to go to heaven. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, I'm trying to process that a little bit.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that was his saying.
Yeah.
It's easier for a camel to walk through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go to heaven. So to my point, you got the guys, and I know them. Back where I'm from in Texas, I sat there and look at them. How many people's land have you foreclosed on that missed one payment, and they had a family and you kicked them out on the street? That's not what God teaches. That's not what God teaches. So you don't have to be in the front row. You don't have to have a 3-piece suit on and $400 boots. You go in there in Crocs and a pair of shorts if that's all you can afford. And the man up there knows where your heart is. I
completely agree.
If you're lying to him, he knows it. You're going to burn. And that's the worst kind.
This is kind of on this subject.
I caught you off guard, didn't I, with this religious stuff. I did Landon too. He's freaked out over there.
I love where this is going, right? This is
well, a lot of people, my persona does not radiate that at all. That's not how I built my brand, but at my core, that's who I am. Yeah. And I will cry, and I will talk directly to God. And if I don't feel like I'm connected, I'll repeat it again, and I'll repeat it again. Sometimes I feel like I have to close my eyes. Sometimes I feel like that I'm not making that connection.
Yeah.
No matter how I try.
I know exactly.
But when I feel it, I feel it. And I don't ask unless it's really important. It's what Eric Church says. God's not a wishing well. It's not just for, well, man, I wished I had $80. It's got to be serious things in your life. And God knows the things that you need and the things that you don't need. And I'm not 1,000%. There's some things that I really wish would have happened that didn't, but I feel like they didn't for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's opened this door for me to go that way.
Isn't that
interesting? And I thought, that sucks. I don't like this. And then all of a sudden, is more prosperous than the other thing that I was doing. So I'm really freaking landing out over here. He don't know what to think. He's like, man, I've never, and he's been with me for what, probably 14 years. 9 years. So he's personally never heard me talk like this.
All right. So I'm going to throw another twister in here for you then to listen to. I make it a goal to try to be a better person every day. Like that's where I'm at in my life. I just want to be a better person. I want to be the best version of myself that I could possibly be. And
I need to try that.
Just micro.
And my guys call that Pigman 2.0.
All right.
And sometimes they'll say you're at 1.5 or you're a flat pig, but when you're 2.0, you're pretty good. But I honest to God, Sam, I've let I don't have addiction problems. I mean, these guys have seen me totally quit cold turkey. I don't have to have alcohol. At one point in my life, when I was in my 20s, I actually had to have somewhat of a buzz to even go to sleep. And I had to quit that. My first wife, my son's mother, she was dead against it. She would not, she wouldn't allow it. And I just got that mindset. And then when we divorced, I kind of went back the other direction. And I catch myself, it's very easy doing what we do. You know this.
Yep.
You're around Jay. You got a lot of people around all the time. A lot of times it's a social setting, or you're out hunting. You get back to camp, all the guns are put away. You like to sit around, nothing better than sitting around a good campfire at night with a cool one. But and where I'm at, I can do a couple and quit, but I need to get better at doing a couple and quitting and then wiping it out completely, totally. I went to the zeros. That's not the way to do it. Landon's physically seen me drink the zeros, and it just, it's that can in your hand, and it's these things, and you really just need to, for myself and my family, I need to walk away from it. And to your point, I need to take a lead from you. I need to work on being a better person every day.
And you're not.
I don't even think about that.
You're not even be perfect, but it's something I put effort into daily. When I wake up, if I wake up groggy or whatever, I try to change my attitude because I got little girls that are about to walk downstairs in an hour, and I want to be the best version of myself for them because they deserve that, right? And they didn't do anything,
and not complaining to the wife about business and all these things. And I got to be honest, I'm a complainer.
Yeah.
I'm a bitcher. I'll gripe. And that, my wife has lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. And stress is the very worst thing on that. And a lot of times I do stress her. And that's what she's told me over the last months is you have to find your own peace. And you have to bring it from here down to here, more level.
You know what I'm going to try? I've had a bunch of buddies that have done it, and it has helped them tremendously. So I'm going to go to either Peru or Mexico. I'm looking at Mexico and doing some of the holistic medicine, where that be, there's 3 different things typically, or multiple different things.
I know very well what you're talking about.
Ayahuasca, psilocybin, or ibogaine. And there's a big push for ibogaine right now, and against the opioid. I'm missing that word. What's that word? Opioid crisis that's going on.
Not that I know anything about that.
And then same, all the healing benefits of ayahuasca and the psilocybin and
natural
the 5-DMT. Yes. And the reason I want to go try it is because I've seen it help so many people and all the stories I've heard.
But you're saying it's not people that's actually traveled there, or are they just? Oh, yeah. Okay. They're not just practicing a holistic diet.
They've gone and they've done the ayahuasca or ibogaine and or psilocybin, and then the next day, typically the second day you do, I'm going to mess this up, but I think it's 5-MODT. And so this is my theory, right? And it helps you gain more clarity and a higher level of consciousness that you can't achieve on your own.
Wow.
That's my theory. And there's okay. Now I'm going to go down this rabbit hole.
I did not know that.
Just for a minute. So there's a show. It's a podcast, and it's called the Telepathy Tapes. Have you heard of that? Mm-mm. Okay. So this doctor has proven that kids that are severely autistic, that are nonverbal, can communicate telepathically. And they talk about meeting on this hill, and they speak different languages. They have friends that live in different countries because they meet on this hill. And this hill, I don't know, what it is, but it's almost seems like it's close to God, because they say, oh yeah, there's one God, and now these doctors are asking these kids all these questions, right? And the reason they were able to do this is because they're called spellers. So someone that is severely autistic and that is nonverbal, their parents or a teacher will teach them how to type into a computer or some sort of device, and then that device project what they're trying to say. So I could type words in, and the computer speaks for me, right? And then they found out that typically the kids can communicate telepathically with their parents, and they can read, obviously read their minds. They know when something's happening. So I say all this because this is my theory. I think those kids and those, people that have severe autism that are nonverbal might be a higher level of being than we are. And now I'm going to digress back to holistic medicine. I've, researched a ton of it, right? A ton about it. And I've watched people take journeys all around South America and, trying holistic medicines like ayahuasca that they've been doing for hundreds of years. And with the goal of becoming a better person and reaching that higher level of consciousness. So I believe those two are tied together in some realm. Now, no, I don't think I've said this out loud before, but I think they're tied together, and I think you can become a better person, get a higher level of consciousness through holistic medicine. With all this being said, I've not done it before, but that's just what my research tells me, which is it's interesting.
Well,
right?
You really don't ever hear anybody saying anything negative about holistic diets. I mean, it's only beneficial.
Yeah.
And that's what my wife Junie's doing. A lot of that. I mean, she's changed a lot of her diet. And I can honest to God tell you, she's not full blown like only this, but I can tell you that her joint pain, the way she's been working the last 2 weeks hard on we're remodeling a little guest house that we have, and she's doing all of it herself. And it's been pretty amazing how she's been since. That's the only change we've made. Mm-hmm. Got her off some prescriptions and more towards that holistic type diet. Mm-hmm. And I believe what you're saying. And I also do believe what you're saying about autistic kids being able to communicate, because exteriorly, you look at them on the outside appearance, they have something wrong with them, but they are super, super smart.
Absolutely.
Like,
Savants.
I mean, like
Savants.
a guy would call themselves a guy that's super smart in finance, or in our case, our bow engineer. He's like Einstein, and he will tell you he's a high functioning autistic. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's autistic or not. We've known another guy that was super smart in finance, like mad skills, like Brainiac, like Rain Man, and he was a high functioning autistic, and they're just super smart.
So that, I'm not going to say proves my point even more, but it adds to my case a little bit.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. No, look, dude, autism just didn't happen in the last 20 years. Mm-hmm. It's been around for a long time. Mm-hmm. And the man upstairs has funny ways how he takes care of people in certain ways.
Absolutely.
So it's just the way it is, man.
Absolutely.
It's the way it is. This has been an interesting podcast.
Didn't see this coming a mile away.
You thought we was going to talk about killing hogs and all these other things. And man, we done went holistic, got with Jesus, and taught you how to raise your kids and all this stuff. But no, man, it's here's what I wanted to come, number one, and talk about Jay, and because I know firsthand. I'm not speculating I'm not outside looking in. I know exactly what this disease does. And I know how devastating it can be. I'm kudos to him. Super proud of him for doing what he did. Shame on you people, all the negative comments. This gentleman is a good guy. He is battling something that he deals with it's no, I've been sick, now I'm better. All the time.
There's no weekends.
All the time.
Yep.
You take his insulin pen and hide it, he's in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what kind of shape he's in.
Fact.
So just be cognizant of how you respond to people. Fully know the situation before you voice your opinion, or better than that, shut your face and stay offline. That's all I'm saying. And that was the whole thing when Landon sent me this, and I'm reading this on vacation. I told my wife, you got to give me a minute. I went in a little spot where I was by myself. I sat down. I stood straight up, one take. That's because it come from my heart. And you can see that in that video because I got a little bit heated about it because it pissed me off. And I didn't even have to read the comments because I already knew. What they was. Landon basically said they're beating him up because of this. And I just went in hot. And they think the old man don't have some reach, but I still have some reach.
I love it. And truly appreciate your support, from on the behalf of Jay, on the behalf of Outsider. Thank you so much. With all that negative, there's been so much positive come out of this.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So almost thank you, right? Thank you for putting, Brian here today. That wouldn't have happened. Thank you for some other great relationships that we're forming from an organization standpoint and personally.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for coming on, and thank you for all your support.
Again, it goes back to one thing you said about when your kids walk into the room and they need to be cognizant and they need to assess. It's networking.
Yep.
And good people networking always has a positive outcome. I've always said, I still believe a negative and a negative can make a positive.
Absolutely.
It's what you make out of your life and the way you handle yourself. And I can honestly say I don't always do that properly. But as far as being a parent, I've always tried to make him understand how I expect him to act. It's very hard to do that when you are a stepfather because there is another person involved that is also, and I never want to try to be somebody's dad when they have a dad, because I would have never wanted somebody to do that to me with my son. I would have lost it. It would have not happened. I would have fought her for custody and took him. But I 100% believe my son needed to be with his mother. And she respects me for that. And I've heard her tell people, you don't ever see it. I was in the post office one day. She's a rural carrier. And I was at the window and a guy walked right up to me and he said, "How's your son doing?" Didn't even know him by his name. "How's your son doing?" I said, "He's all right." Probably don't ever get to see him, do you? Much as you travel and stuff. I see him around here quite a blah, blah. I didn't even know she was back there, dude. And this one's a hothead. She was a prison guard for 15 years. She flew around threw that door open and got right up in this guy's face and said, "I could not have asked for a better father for my son than that dude right there. You're wrong." She crawled all over him.
Good.
She never defended me before. I was floored. And it made me feel really good. It did.
Yeah, I bet.
But, man, this has been great.
Yeah.
I hate we missed Jay. Hopefully,
Me too.
whatever he had going on was positive and not negative. But I would really love to have met him. But, hey, it is what it is. He's a busy guy. Enjoyed you.
Likewise.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
A lot of people forget that. And let me tell you something about boy raised right. How old are you now?
26.
Okay.
26.
Same age as my son. We go into the Cheddars over here. Open the door. Several elderly people come out. Guy had a Navy hat on. Landon walked straight over to him. "Guy's got to be 90. Thank you for your service." That's raising.
Good for you, bud.
That's raising.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And it's so easy to do it.
Very.
So if you guys are listening to this podcast, you young guys that like these guys because they're in shape. This guy was Special Forces. This guy was an NFL player. I'm sure there's some young men that follow this podcast. Listen to what we just said. Accountability, and to your point, which I need to practice myself, be the best person that you can be every day. And remember, Without God, none of this is possible.
That's a fact.
So that's where your heart has to be. And you don't necessarily have to hit church every Sunday. Wouldn't hurt you to go every now and then and learn, but the relationship, you can have a one-on-one personal relationship with God yourself, and that's totally okay too.
I'm not going to try to follow that up. Thank you.
Gracias, amigo.
Appreciate you.